Okay.
So we're live now. We're being recorded. Coffee drink. So what do we want to talk about today? The fifth and last session of the flipped learning professional development or training course for Rectorías on Occidente. Oh, I'm going to cry. So what do you want to talk about today, people? We got an hour to hang out. Today, I mean, I want to keep doing this after. I'm going to look for a time. I mentioned it in Schoology. I want to look for a time. Oops, I should turn off screen share. There we go. There we go. I should turn off the screen share. I want to look for a time that works for people to do kind of a hangout once a week or something. I'll put out suggestions later, but I want to keep this kind of community going, even though the course is going to be officially over sometime.
Sí, yo creo que es interesante que se mantenga esta comunidad porque así la vamos enriqueciendo con el estar compartiendo. No sé si se pueda mantener la plataforma de Schoology.
Yeah. I'm not going to close it. I'll leave the course open. I'm not going to like close the course or anything. So that'll allow us to not just be able to come back and ask questions or be involved, but if you want to look at this, say in December, you can go back and see what we did. I'm a big believer in archiving everything. I'm a digital pack rat. I have my emails from like 2000 still. So that I believe in being able to reflect and look back on what we did. So I will not close the course. It won't go away. That's a definite. So you can come back and not worry about that going away. I think it's really important.
Oye, una pregunta. ¿Por qué utilizar más Google Plus en vez de Facebook?
¿En qué sentido? ¿Lo que estamos haciendo ahorita?
No, en general, I think that Facebook is a very good platform to share information as well as Google Plus. But I see that you use more Google Plus instead Facebook, and so I don't know if you are using both or you prefer.
I'm using all of the above. I use Google Plus, I use Facebook, I use Twitter, I use Pinterest, I use pretty well everything. Lately, I'm using Facebook a lot more than I was, because it's where everybody is. But I have a lot of things against Facebook about their privacy policies, about what happened 2 weeks ago with their release and publication of what they were doing with social experiments on people. I've had students who refuse to be on Facebook because of what Facebook does. But I decided last fall that I'm going to use Facebook for my courses because I can't fight my students and force them to be on Google Plus.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Okay. But you use different platforms. Doesn't care about the information, so you share in every platform.
So I have this theory that every platform has its different type of use, whereas Twitter's kind of like, let's see what's happening right now, but you don't go back and look at old stuff from Twitter, right?
Okay.
Facebook is much more, but Twitter tends to be completely open, like whatever I say, the entire planet's going to see. A lot of people use closed Twitter accounts, but it's not really that useful, I found. I used to have a closed account, whereas Facebook's more of a closed community, like kind of. Our flipped learning community is actually publicly visible. But I know that whatever I say, this group of 200-something teachers are going to see. So that's what Facebook is to me. But Facebook's horrible for, like, if I posted a link, it's hard for you to find the one I posted 2 months ago. In fact, someone just posted something yesterday or the day before. Hold on, I'm going to go to the group. Facebook, Jorge, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Jorge shared modifying the flipped classroom, the in-class version. I'm sure I posted that like 3 months ago. So Facebook's kind of a good community thing, which is nice. And then Google Plus kind of gives that, but Google Plus is, it's weird because it's like this glue. you don't need Google Plus, but this Hangout thing is really, really, really important for me. The fact that we're recording now, and when I'm finished and I hit hang up, it's there, recorded, and anybody can watch it later. And bizarre enough, some people have actually went and looked at it, which I find weird. But I've gone back and watched all of our episodes to take notes about what we did. And then there's just other things. What I want to get from you guys about this whole sharing thing, so make a note, is at the beginning of the course, I think it was really hard to get you to share. I think it's also because I wasn't clear what I wanted at the beginning of the course, but that's for a few reasons. One, I wasn't sure because this is a total experiment, because I've never done a course like this before. I also think if I was really, really clear what I was going to do at the front, that I was basically experimenting and getting you to reflect, because that's what most of what this is about your reflections on your teaching. And that sounds so woo-woo, wishy-washy, that maybe nobody would have signed up for the course, right? Some people came to this course expecting that Ken's just going to present PowerPoint decks like a classic course, and I'm going to sit here and consume information, which is totally what it wasn't about. And a lot of people complained at the beginning that that's not how it was being done, even though this is about flipped learning, so I shouldn't be giving a course that way. But my theory is maybe people wouldn't have signed up if they thought it was going to be this weird kind of open, not knowing what we're doing thing. So what I want to get from reflection from you is how to improve this type of format, how to get other people to share more. And my theory is that you shared more because it is closed Schoology and not the entire planet can see what you're writing. I'd rather do this completely in the open where everybody can see what we're doing. But I do acknowledge that some people are a little hesitant or intimidated about sharing completely openly, and that came up in my conversation today on this Hangout I just did. So I don't know if people, Laura, you're there. Hey. What do you think? What did you want to talk about this week? The submissions have started coming in. I've actually watched everybody's submissions that they submitted for this week, even though I haven't marked the previous weeks because I wanted to think about what we're talking this week.
Well, about this week, I wanted to tell you about that. I think that now the teacher is like a coach, like a coach for in a team. We need to know the students, each student. We need to do a roadmap for each student because each one of them needs different things. Maybe one of them is going to learn by video, the other one will need more exercises, and well, that, for me that's like a coach, okay?
Yep.
And well, that to do that we need to dedicate a lot of time.
Yes.
And, but well, it's part of the role of the professor.
Yep. Yeah, people want to think that it's going to be easier or something, and then they say it's going to be a lot of work to flip, and I don't like to lie. It's going to be a lot of work. It's a change. The long-term goal is that it will change the way you work, and you'll spend more time on something, but less time on other things. Because I'm watching my wife prepare for her course, and she's spending a ton of time developing worksheets and the exercises, and way more time doing that, as opposed to once I've curated my content for my course, I'm going to update it. I'm not going to leave the same stuff for next year, but all that work I did last semester, I don't need to redo this semester. And I don't have to worry about, okay, we need to make more homework assignments because I can't use the ones from last semester because then they're just going to copy them, because my work outside of class is the videos or what readings they're going to do, and I don't have to worry about them cheating on that because it doesn't matter. So I can spend more time just spending time with them in the classroom, which is really important to me. Let's see. Hey! There we are, San Luis Potosí. Fidencio's in the back. How we doing, everybody? Brenda's got you all muted. Fix your hair, yes. What do we got to say? Jose Pablo, what did you have to add about this week and about being a professional educator?
Well, I was just telling Rosie that I agree with what Laura was mentioning on knowing students. It is very, very difficult for you to be pretending to teach something if you don't really know them and what you're going to be getting them to work. If you don't get their attention or if you don't get them interested on something, they will just go away. And uh, with my essay now, I'm almost, well, beginning, and I just ended my first paragraph, and I was just mentioning that you have to get to know your students. Otherwise, you won't be able to produce content that is going to be suitable for them.
Right. I'm just looking back on. I made some notes from the hangout I did today. Let's see. Oh my goodness! Everybody added a whole bunch of notes already. There were some interesting comments today. Let me take the focus off Jose Pablo. There were some interesting comments today in this hangout I did. I linked it in Schoology and I linked it on Twitter. We did a hangout about, the topic was, what is the moral imperative as educators to share our work, which came up a lot in our conversations. And this is a hangout or a roundtable kind of thing that this guy does, Ben Wilkoff. And he's invited me tons of times to these things, and I've never joined. And I decided I better join this week because this has a lot to do with our topic. And even though it was today, an hour before ours, I wanted to join. And it was really cool. There's some things came up about how to engage your students a lot. They use Twitter a lot of these teachers, and we don't use it so much in Mexico, or at least I haven't seen it with my students. And there were some examples of, let's say, there's this thing called Follow Friday. So on Fridays you tend to say, hey everybody, I think you should follow this person. And one of the teachers said, that's what you should do with your students. You should say, hey, all of my colleagues and followers on Twitter, follow my student Irma or whoever it is, because she's doing cool stuff about this, and here's a link to her project. And so that was a cool thing to look at. I linked the hangout, and you should look at it later. The one thing that was really nice is there was a student. Let me see if I can screen share here. 1 second. I'm going to screen share that, and I'm going to show you my Tweetdeck. And here's the notifications. And so there was this student called Afra, and she joined in, and she tweeted me a whole bunch already. But I basically said thanks to her for joining our roundtable, because we had this really cool roundtable, and I'll show you. There's the Project Roundtable. There it is, right there. It's Project Roundtable. What is the moral imperative? There were 7 of us online talking. This lady was from Hawaii. He was from Vancouver. Ben hosted it. This is the student, and there was a few others of us jumping in. And then we also worked on this Google Doc, which is an open document where we took notes. We wrote about ourselves. I'm going down to the bottom here. That's all the people that wanted to join. Only some of them did. And then reflections on the session. We all just collaboratively joined this document, and we wrote our reflections. One thing I wanted to say about this, let me turn screen share off so we can go back to video. I was almost not going to join this because I saw there was like 20-something people signed up that they wanted to get on this Hangout. And as we find out, we can only have 10 people on the Hangout. And I thought, oh, I'll let someone who has something more interesting to say join. And then I thought, no, I'm just going to go. And if I don't get in because I'm late, then oh well. And I think that's a message for all of you about sharing or even joining right now. Like Elo's there by himself, or Fabiola's come on previous weeks by herself. Don't be afraid to share, right? Don't be afraid to get in and share what you're doing. And that's the big message that came out. So please go and watch that if you get a chance. It's about an hour. But the coolest thing was this student came on and she gave her opinion on how to get students to share and how to get teachers to share what they're doing. It was really, really, really cool to hang out with those people. All right, who else is going to talk? Brenda, San Luis, Potosi. There's got to be something going on there. Miguel just joined, so I can get him in a second. Who's actually using Twitter yet? Brenda's there. Brenda's on Twitter.
Okay, so me.
Yeah.
So I saw what Sonia commented on your Twitter thingy earlier this morning. I tried to follow your flip class yesterday because I was just watching TV and just on my phone. But the thing is, I could not. I was reading like the answers, but I could never get to the question. And by context, I could figure out what you were talking about. But I like, where was the list of questions that everybody was answering?
They were not ahead of time. So all that came out, and actually I recorded the whole session. That was Monday evening. I recorded the whole thing. So I got like a 1.4 gigabyte file I need to post-produce. I used Camtasia, and I just fired up Camtasia, and then I opened up my Tweetdeck. I don't think I'll show it right now. I'll show it later. But I opened up my Tweetdeck, sat down on the couch, told my wife I'm busy, told the kids Daddy's not here, go away, and just tried to participate live, so that my intention is I'm going to take that recording, make a Camtasia video where I can kind of overlay, okay, here you can see that I clicked on this person, and then I decided to, oh, what did they write about? Oh, where are they from? Oh, I'm interested in them, I'm going to follow them, or not. Or I saw someone's answer came up, and I saw, oh, that's really interesting, and then I can click on that tweet, and then I can see that was an answer to this tweet, to this tweet, to this tweet, and kind of follow the conversations. So I'm going to try to show that in a video of how I use Twitter, and especially in a chat format, because it's a little complex, and I think obviously you don't have to do it the way I do it, but I think it's instructing to learn from example of how someone else uses this tool. So I might get a chance to do that a little bit today, but we'll see how that goes. What I was really surprised about, and I thought was awesome, was when I put that post last week about the discussion about tools, and it just exploded. That was so cool. Everyone had a tool to share. Linda came on, Miguel came on. Cool. Linda's orienting her camera somewhere there. Miguel's not on camera. Maybe he's just listening. So yeah, I need to show you how to use Twitter better. But I want everybody on Twitter because it's amazing the amount of contacts you can make. Who else has something to say today? Linda, Miguel. Elo. Elo raises his hand. Let's focus on Elo.
A mí perdón, en español es más fácil.
No, adelante, adelante.
A mí Twitter, aunque ya tengo como unos 3 años con la cuenta, me ha costado mucho trabajo darle el seguimiento digamos, a los temas o a realmente sacarle el provecho que se le puede sacar. Me cuesta mucho trabajo como que seguir el paso de las conversaciones o me pierdo mucho en tantos posts, ¿no? Quizás sea el problema de los hashtags, de no saberlos utilizar bien, pero a veces siento que Facebook es un poco más amigable como plataforma que Twitter, porque aunque Twitter es muy inmediato, realmente a mí en lo personal me cuesta mucho trabajo poder entender o organizar toda esa información, ¿no?
Right. So the thing with Facebook is it's immediate in front of you, the path of conversation, because you can see there's a post here, there's a reply to that post and a reply to that post, and it's all on that one page, right? Whereas Twitter, you just see individual messages, right? And those individual messages aren't connected directly with the same messages, especially if you're using the Twitter interface. Let me show you something. Let's see. Let me fire up Twitter first.
No estamos viendo tu video.
Okay. No, I'm not doing it yet. I'm just getting it ready. But while I listened to, say, Linda or Miguel jumped in, so I wanted to see if they had something to say before I give kind of a quick Twitter demo.
Okay.
Linda, Miguel, no? No? You're muted, both of you. Linda, Miguel, if you're going to try to talk, you're muted. You need to unmute your mic.
It's because I'm just landing in Monterrey. So
awesome! Yeah,
There's
you posted that you were going to do that. Don't worry about it. That's fine. I forgot you were in an airport. Awesome.
Yep.
Linda's dedicated. She's joining us from an airport. Miguel, yes. Are you there? Did you want to say something? No? Oh well. I think Miguel's probably just listening. So let me do this. I'm gonna quickly share my screen. Let's see if I can narrate what I'm doing here. So here's just a standard Twitter page. I don't use Twitter this way, okay? Because if you notice, basically this middle section is just all of the people I follow. This guy I just met today, Mr. Tyrol, I can't pronounce. He just posted, and there's John, there's all these different people I post, and they're random different people. Most of it's education. I'm tended to follow a lot more education. But I also follow people in computing science. I follow, hockey. This is about hockey. So this is not my interface to Twitter. I don't do this. What I do, oops, who's making noise? I'm going to mute Linda because it's really loud. Oops, someone else is making noise. No, there we go. Okay, so this is the way I do Tweetdeck, or Twitter. I have my Tweetdeck open. I made a video a little bit about this, but here's kind of the view you would have in the standard Twitter page, right? It's just all of the posts that are coming in one by one. This mirrors what I had over here, okay? But it focuses it. So this is just the standard, let's say, feed like in Facebook. This is if anyone mentions me or follows me or something, I'll get a post over here in this column. So I decide that this is this column that I have important. I created a column called FlipTech21. So if anyone posted a question right now, I would see it come in here live. And then I also follow Flip Class, which is the tag that people tend to use when they're talking about flipping. So if anything comes in about Flip Class, I'm going to see it there. Another important column I have is messages. These are all private discussions. So I'm showing you my private discussions, but it's not that important. Those are called direct messages. And then I follow a lot of other things. Okay. So just a couple things I wanted to show you. So let's say I'm following Flip Class here, and let me find something that I find interesting. Oh, there. So here's someone retweeted this. Flip Learning Network said that if you attended the Flip conference, I just got this email, that the videos are available. Awesome, cool. So there's a couple things I could do. I could click in the middle of this message. I could see this message. I can see that people have retweeted this message. People have favorited this message. And I could do things like I could reply, or I could say, you know what? People that are following me might be interested in this. I'm going to retweet this. So I sent it out. Anyone who follows me will now see that message. A couple other things I might see that H. Wilson posted something. Oh, who's this H. Wilson guy? I can look at him and decide if I want to follow him. I'm already following him, so that's not that interesting. And I can actually see that he's following me as well. I can see he's from New York. I can see this is what he does. I can go into detail. I can see other people that follow him that I might be interested in. So that's the way I kind of follow through this. Another thing I wanted to show you is, let's get back to this conversation. Let's say this one. The student who was in our post earlier, or our hangout earlier, posted this. But then I can kind of follow the conversation by clicking into there and seeing these are the people that replied to this tweet. So it's not in this main line, but I can look at any of these tweets here. Let's see, find something that's a little more interesting. Say that one. No, not that interesting. Pick random tweets. There we go. So Aaron Sams, that author of the Flip book, said he'll see what I can do. Well, what was that in relation to? Oh, it was about this conversation we had where Katie said something. I said we should have 2 more days at the conference. Cheryl Morris says, hey, we should have a full week FlipCon. And then Aaron posted something, and then Katie posted something afterwards. So that's really how I use Twitter in a nutshell. Let me take the screen share off and get back to us. So I'm working on producing a video for you. The real point here about Twitter isn't that it's a tool to follow stuff about food or something, but I use it to connect to other people doing interesting things in teaching. And that's really the value in this. And as soon as I post-produce that video about the conversations on Monday nights, which should be useful to you, but also the people in that chat that we do this weekly chat, we're very interested in doing that because we're trying to get new people involved in this weekly chat about flipped class.
So I have a question. Well, not a question, maybe just.
Go ahead, Linda.
So you're you're using Twitter when you have something to share, when you want to share with somebody, but in Facebook you have just a specific group of friends. So you're not. If you, for example, you do a group in Facebook, you just be in that group with people that you know. And in Twitter, if you're interested in that topic, so you can meet somebody else, many people that are interested in the same topic, and you can learn from there. So that's basically why you're using it?
Yeah, you can use Twitter privately, and some people do. I don't, and most people don't. So Twitter is more, I'm going to say, okay, this is something that happened. I might put a link, I might put a photo, but the hashtag is the key. So when I'm writing something, I'll put hashtag #FlipClass, or hashtag EdChat for educational chat, or hashtag Oilers if I'm talking about, you know, the Edmonton Oilers hockey team. And then people who are following these hashtags can see, oh, that's about something I'm interested in. Click on my post, see who's replying, or follow me and get in touch with me. That's what Twitter's more about.
Okay, yeah, because I get crazy when I get into Twitter.
Yeah, don't try to read everything. You can't. You can't. It's not what it's about.
Yes. But I met these great people in from the Tweetdeck, from the FlipCon, and these two teachers. So I'm happy because now I'm having some information from them. They are.
Who did you get in touch with, Linda? Because it's math teachers, right?
Yeah,
Audrey?
math teachers. One of them is Kirsch. I don't remember.
Crystal Kirsch is awesome. She's the whisker person.
Yeah, and the other one, it's
Audrey.
No.
Audrey, she's in Canada, Montreal, and she does a lot of GeoGebra.
And she's excellent. Oh my gosh.
She's awesome.
She has so much material and that we are sharing now. Well, I'm not sharing anything. She's sharing with me.
Well, you will share later. That's what this is about. So one thing I said they asked me, if you watch that Hangout, they asked me, what is your advice for teachers? And I said, my advice for everyone about sharing is, rule number 0, get on Twitter. And then I said, learn one new tool this semester and share about it. Make 2 blog posts. Linda makes lots, so it's no big deal. But everybody else, make 2 blog posts. One at the beginning of the semester about, I'm excited about this semester, and this is my plans, and this is what I want to do. And then one at the end of the semester. So that's 1 tool, 2 blog posts. That second blog post, obviously, at the end of the semester is reflecting on what happened, what went right, what went wrong. Okay. And 3 was you're on Twitter, you're thinking about how to using it, you learned a new tool, you made 2 blog posts. The number 3 was get 3 colleagues to do the same, either next semester or this semester, and hold their hands and using these tools. Because I think it's easy just to watch someone talk about it, but it's much, much easier to have someone in your location sit beside you and show you how to use these tools. I'm trying to do that virtually with you, and it's hard, but just tomorrow I'm going to sit down with another teacher here on campus and show her how to make a blog, how to make a web page using WordPress, and how to get on Twitter and follow actually Audrey, I'm stuck on her name. Hold on, I'm going to have to search. Audrey McLaren in Canada, because she's a math teacher as well, the one I'm going to talk to tomorrow. And so I'm going to get them hooked into Audrey and to Crystal. I'm going to get them hooked up with Linda and the other math teachers that we're talking to right now, because building community is so darn important. All right. Who else wants to talk? Brenda, Elo, Jose Pablo. No? Linda's in an airport and she's talking. Everyone's muted, so Elo.
Sí. Una de las cosas que a mí me está costando mucho trabajo es cambiar el paradigma de cambiar las cosas. Cuando hablamos de cambiar las cosas es, o sea, sobre el compartir. A final de cuentas, pues yo el tiempo que llevo es mi trabajo, mi expertise, ¿no? Y ahorita es cambiar esa manera de pensar y empezar a compartir. Y en el post que puse en la mañana era realmente el miedo que uno tiene a realmente a ser evaluado, juzgado por los demás, en términos de que hago bien en mi trabajo, no lo hago bien, les caigo bien a los alumnos, por eso me va bien, pero en realidad tiene más que ver en la forma en que nosotros compartimos o podemos aceptar las sugerencias, ¿no? Para poder ir mejorando nuestro curso. La parte de internacionalización es la que me costaba un poco de trabajo entender cómo un profesor de otro país pudiera colaborar con el curso, y sin embargo ahorita con los Hangouts o con Twitter o cosas así, pues se abre una infinidad.
La tecnología ahí está.
Para poder utilizar herramientas y mejorar nuestra gestión, que es algo al menos para mí es muy difícil abrir y permitirme el compartir las cosas, ¿no? Y creo que con este curso lo he encontrado algunos métodos para poder compartir las cosas y mejorar la parte docente, ¿no?
¿En qué nivel y clases das, Elo?
Yo doy en licenciatura, doy en mercadotecnia.
Okay, because I'm going to go back to English because I'm lazy. So the other thing that I found really important, and I have these contacts from FlipCon, is say Audrey, I wanted to hook her up with math teachers, and that's I pushed her to Linda, and I'm pushing it to other people. I've met people in business, in a lot of history teachers, a lot of English teachers, or actually a Spanish language teacher. And the Spanish language teacher said she wants her students to talk to native speakers. Oh, I've got a high school. It's right across the parking lot from me. I know, because the tech has a big push for internationalization, why can't I hook up a high school teacher here in the campus Guadalajara or anywhere with Heather Witten's class in, I can't remember where she is, I think she's in Colorado, and get her students together talking on a hangout like this. It'd be just awesome. Or Andrew, who was on the Flip Class chat on Monday, he coordinates it. He wants to figure out a way to get some international contact between his English students and some students somewhere. And definitely this setup is the right way to do this. So I hope you learn some tools that we can use to not just share what we're doing. I understand everyone's fear of sharing, but getting their students to share is big, and this came up before about how we're now the coaches and not giving content to students. In order to get the students to be the focus of learning, they need to be confident that what they share has value, okay? And they need to have trust in you that you really are letting them share, and not classic, tell me what I need to memorize so I have to repeat it on an exam, because that's so much what they're used to, and they're not used to sharing, and we're not used to sharing either. David Noel was here just 2 days ago on campus, and he made a big point about, Ken Bauer, you're not a professor of the Tecnológico de Monterrey campus Guadalajara. You are a professor of Tecnológico de Monterrey. The concept of campus at the level of the tech is going to disappear. I mean, we're going to have campuses, but we want each of the professors to think we are all together in this, that un solo tech. And so this concept of me and you sharing now, I've been here for almost 20 years, and this has not existed, not even close to enough. And we need to make that happen more. And hopefully this will start to break down some barriers for some of us. Who's there? Who wants to talk? Come on, San Luis Potosí. ¿Quién anda por acá? Fidencio always has something to say. Where is he? Come on. I'm going to pour myself some more coffee. There he is. You're muted, Fidencio. You need to unmute. Yay.
I'm there. Am I there?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I was, in fact, eating with an ex-tech today.
Excellent.
With an alumni, and he was telling me that he's taking a course from Stanford, a free course. He's not paying a penny. He only had to register, and this is a master level course, and he's gonna get credit for this. Right. And I was astonished and how this is gonna go, because in some time everybody can take any kind of course from anywhere in the world. And I was thinking, what is going to happen with this institution?
Right.
Why should the students pay what they have to pay? Why should they have to come? If all of this now is going to be so available to everywhere so easily, and I don't have the answer, but if we don't jump in some way, we're going to be out of the question
education business.
So we better do that, and maybe one of the options, one of the things that we are doing is discussing here and taking this, let's say, course that you're leading, this conversation that you're leading. This should be continuous thing, because if not, we're gonna disappear from our jobs.
It definitely is, Fidencio, because so the tech knows about MOOCs, and we're involved in MOOCs, and that's what this is about, is the massively online open courses. I'm a heavy believer that content, and you said this in your message, that content is just free. I mean, you can get it anywhere. That's no big deal. MOOCs is one way to put a whole bunch of content together, and then some assignments that you pass to get credit. The trick that MOOCs are having is, okay, did you do that assignment, or did your mom do that assignment, or your brother, or some guy in China you paid to do the assignment, right? So MOOCs have to create a system of evaluating, right? A testing center, like certification standards. So, and they're working on that. So what's the value of a student to go to the Tec de Monterrey as opposed to just taking these MOOCs? It's us, right? It's the fact that they can have personal attention with the teachers in the room, in their offices, online. And I think just as important is they're going to be in small clusters of students interacting with each other, right? Your students aren't just learning from you anymore. They're learning from the colleagues that are in their classroom together, and that's just as important as being receiving information from this sage on the stage, because we're no longer the sage on the stage giving information. We're the guide on the side, which is what John says, of we're guiding them through. Let them use the MOOC, sure. Actually, my students have come to class saying, hey, I found this resource on a Stanford site or any other site, Khan Academy or Coursera or whatever. Oh, great, awesome, thanks. Share that with us. What did you learn from that? Show me what you learned. Oh, and I don't agree with this. I agree with that. And we can discuss content they find on the internet. But they can't get that in a massively online course with thousands of people, right? I mean, if they ask questions, who's going to answer all the time? That's the problem with MOOCs, is they don't have the amount of support for each student the same way we have in a class where the teacher's paid to be their guide. So I think the tech needs to realize that teachers are more important now than they were. Laura.
Again, during the last semester, I was taking a course at EDX. It's a place or a space where you can take courses. I was taking a course from the MIT to develop mobile applications, and they give you a diploma. You can enroll just to listen the course, or just to do the homework, to participate in each assignment that they give you, and they give you a diploma for that. I think that's part of like something that they do for the community. That's like part of to share the knowledge with the community, and the course was really great. Awesome. I really like it. It was awesome. And well, I think it's that's something that maybe in the future or in near we are going to do in the Monterrey Tech.
I think so. One thing I noticed with our course is a lot of you realized eventually that it wasn't important what I was saying with you. You were sharing on the assignments, and then you were answering each other and giving each other feedback and ideas. And that's like way more important than this student-teacher relationship. And that's really what we're trying to bring in flipped learning as opposed to flipped classroom, is that it's a peer learning environment. And that's almost more important than the teacher. I think we still need the teacher there to plant seeds and to guide the conversation and to jump in when necessary. But I think a lot of us learned in this course that the peer learning is just as important as the teacher-student relationship. And we also learned that this relationship, that we really have a relationship, and I know this is Laura, and I know this is Elo, and I know this is Fidencio. When he comes up to the microphone, I know what his style is going to be, or Linda, because I've learned about you just in this short 5 weeks, and you can do the same thing with your students doing this type of activity.
Well, in fact, what happened in that course was that between the students were checking the information or the assignments that we were sending, and the teacher was not as involved as we are now in the traditional model, and we always receive information or feedback from other students. Okay.
Right. I think the teacher, oops, I'm going to get rid of this ice. The teacher lays the path, but then the students are gonna deviate from that path, and that's okay. And I think it's really important. We're going to have this week in Monterrey, or at least I'm going to, 21st to 25th for the technological programs, is I want to fight for, don't tell me what exactly I'm going to do in the 48 hours of the semester of my course. Tell me 30-something hours and let me, as a teacher in my class with my students, do my course a little bit different with this group of students. And then with the other group of students, I'm going to do it a little bit different. Give us some flexibility in our classes. We talked about that last week. But I think the tech knows this. It's just, we're not used to that, I don't think. I'm hesitant to say why we want to specifically say exactly what we need to cover in each course. But I think we need to find some flexibility. So those of us that are involved in designing degree programs next week or the week after or whatever it is, we need to think about how to make things a little bit more open. Who's got stuff to say? Man, this hour is going to go by so darn fast.
Can I say something else?
There you go, Linda. Linda from the airport.
Yeah. And from the restrooms in the airport, because there's not
so
much noise. You were saying also that some of the topics that were pending here, they were about administrative clearance. I'm interested. What do you mean? Because let me tell you what's my situation this semester. I'm going to be teaching algebra for the first semester in high school, and there are going to be 3 more teachers. 3. So we will be 4 different people teaching the same subject. And somebody is going to say, okay, the
we all have to
grading
teach the same thing.
is going to be, the grading criteria is going to be these. The way that we have to teach is this, and blah 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 blah. So I will not be flexible at all, because they already told me, because they know that that sometimes I use different stuff. They tell me, but you know what? You have to be using the same rules that all of us. And I feel like very disappointed. So that's why I wanted to ask you, what do you mean with administrative clearance? Because I would like to use. I already started recording some of my lessons, and you know, I'm very excited about these. I've been very I've been researching a lot. So. But I don't want to feel like, oh my gosh, I have to use the same stuff over and over. I have to use the same manual because they use a manual in class. And what can we do?
So let me give you my point on that. So I've been here for a long time, and what had happened is I would see the on, you know, Bisectoria Academica, this is the line of what topics you have to give and how many hours for each one. And I'm like, but where did this come from? Can I deviate from this? And I said, oh yeah, everyone just gives whatever they want. I'm like, so why do we say this is the rule, but then everyone deviates from the rule? Why not just be a little more flexible in the rules and then know that everyone's going to deviate? What I think about these courses, I like when there's, say, you and 4 other teachers are giving algebra, math 5 or whatever it is. You got to come up with learning objectives that we should all cover this material, right? I think it would be great if we could have common final exams and maybe midterm exams. Although the problem with that in the tech is we tend to schedule our exams based on the hour of class, not which course it is. Because if you're going to give the same exam to all the students, you got to give it all to the same time on the same day so that they aren't all talking about what was on the exam last Tuesday, right? So that has to be implemented. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay that you and the 3 other teachers say, okay, this is going to be our final exam, and Linda designs 3 questions, then Pablo designs 3 questions, and then Ken designs 3 questions, and then we give the final exam at the same time for all the students, and that has to change the way we give exams. And then Linda's actually going to mark all 100 students' questions 1 through 3 because you created that question, and then the other teacher's going to, and then we standardize grading. And there's no pressure that I'm going to make my students have better grades than the other students. And this whole competition thing we have to eliminate when we're doing this standards-based or standardized exams. What I don't like is when we say we're going to all do the same thing and we standardize a course, but then we don't. I mean, why say we're going to do it if we actually don't? And I've seen that happen here. I've seen that happen everywhere. It's not a tech thing. So I don't know how you're going to battle that, and I know there's administrative support. I saw this from David just 2 days ago, that yeah, you can use different platforms. You don't have to use Blackboard. You can use Schoology. You can use all these other things. The mismatch is I think there's a lot of what's happening way up at the top of administration and what's happening with the teachers below, we're in agreement. But there's these layers in between, say a David Garza or David Noel or Salvador Alva, and the teacher at the bottom. And your direct boss and their boss and their boss and their boss are hesitant for us to experiment. And that's going to change, and it's changing slowly. When Salvador Alva came in, he said this is a long process to change the way we work in the institution. It's a 6-7 year process probably, and I believe him. It's going to take a long time to change. So make your small changes, Linda. I think you're the kind of person like me that isn't afraid to experiment. But just be a little more conscious, and that's what's happening to me more, that other people aren't as open to experiment as I am. And try to bridge that gap between them playing the safe, standard way and us crazy people that want to do things differently. That's my answer.
Okay, and another question out, a different topic about the hashtags again in Twitter. How do you do that? Like in the same 140 characters, you put about 3 or 4 different hashtags.
Yeah, you run out of space.
It seems that you are putting, I don't know, let me just guess. Are you writing something here and at the same time it's in Facebook and at the same time it's somewhere else? Or
it can be.
Or you, no,
sometimes I use Twitter to get people to go to my blog, or I'll use Twitter to get people to go to the hangout we had. So sometimes Twitter is like a link, and this is what I said about your assignments. A lot of you are writing your assignments and here's my document and here's my video, but you didn't say what it's about, right? And this is the same thing on Facebook and everything else. Everyone reads the Facebook wall, but what gets you? You got to think about what gets you to actually click on that link and open it, right? And you as a teacher and you as a colleague, and we're sharing, how are you going to convince me to click on your link?
Okay.
Right? So and that's part of what Twitter's about.
Because now everywhere there are the hashtags. If you go to this I forgot the one with pictures is
Pinterest.
No, not Pinterest. The other one, the one you take pictures and you put a lot of hashtags.
Instagram.
Every single Instagram, every single word is
I don't
a
use it
hashtag.
much, yeah.
I say, why are they using so many hashtags? So
It's
that's
kind
why
of,
I was.
there's so many communication mediums, and we're trying to, it's all about communication. So it's like, how do we get people to talk to us and listen to us? That's all it's about. So Twitter's just a medium of getting people together. But ideally, I find the best things are these conversations when we're doing a Google Hangout. So you want to find Audrey and Crystal and some other people here and go, hey, let's on Thursday afternoon do a Hangout about math teachers that are flipping and host one and see who joins. Tomorrow, actually, I have one for computer science flippers with a person from Ireland and another guy from Florida who found me. And I said, let's just make a Hangout, and I'll advertise it and see who else shows up. And let's talk about what we're doing in computing, introductory computing with flipping. And I'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe it's a complete failure. I don't know. But at least we're having conversations. Who else? Let's see. Who else has to talk? Miguel disappeared. Elo's still here. Brenda and company are there. Laura's disappeared. Jose Pablo, Sinaloa, what have you got to say? ¿Qué onda?
We were talking about flexibility, actually. I was telling them, when you were mentioning the levels of hierarchy in which the teacher is at the bottom, and then everybody's kind of hesitant on saying yes, have some flexibility. I was telling them that I just talked to my coordinator like a week ago or so, and she said it was okay because I almost told her it's an experiment that I want to have in class, because most of my classes will be outside.
So a message, I'm going to jump in here for a second, Jose Pablo. We just came up with, we had a meeting with the entire faculty of Guadalajara with David Noel Ramirez, and the conversation came up that, okay, Tech 21 is very different than what students are used to, and not just flipping, but Tech 21 period. And some students are going to freak out. They're not going to know how to learn this way. How are we going to get over that? It's going to be a time of adjustment. We know that. And his message was, and I pointed this out as well, okay, if I experiment in this course next semester, I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not going to be a disaster, but some things aren't going to work perfectly, and maybe my ECOAs, my evaluation, is going to come out bad. Are we willing to look over that, okay, Ken, that's cool, that's fine, it was an experiment, we learned some stuff, we're not going to fire you because you got a 2-point whatever on your ECOAs for that course? And he said yes. He said we can overlook these type of things, that we know there's experiments, and we know that we're going to have to suffer some change and some adjustment to change. So we've got the message up there from David Noel Ramirez that we are open to doing these experiments. Obviously, don't do something crazy with your students, but we know there's going to be some growing pains in this, and that's okay. Fidencio, you're up there. You want to talk?
I was about to say exactly the same thing that Jose Pablo said, because we were discussing exactly the same here. How flexible is this going to be? Is this going to be, for example, as flexible as, what about calling the roll? So we have, Jose Pablo is saying, I'm going to take the class out of the classroom.
Yes.
Well, everybody has to pass the card. If not, I get an email tomorrow saying that I was not.
So maybe not at your direct Barras level, but I've got the response here from Campus Guadalajara and our zone. And so I know the answer is going to be yes, because I can go talk to the person who's in charge of the zone right now. I said, can we get a flag on our course so that I'll still take attendance every day? Because part of attendance is the parents want to know if they were there or not. But you're not going to fail if you have X number of faltas. And the answer is yes, we can put a flag on your course that says even if the student passes the limits, they will not fail your course. And that's available administratively. I also have another answer about, I wanted to know if we could have a different ECOAS, a different encuesta for students. And the answer is yes, and actually I'm helping design. I'm going to invite all of you. I'm making a Google Doc about like an alternative ECOAS, evaluation of students, or evaluation of teachers by students. that at least at Guadalajara level, they said, hey, if you can come up with a good survey of students, we will apply that survey to your students instead of the standard one. And the answer was yes. So we can do these things. I think it's a matter of, there is a culture of we're not used to asking because we think the answer is always going to be no. And that blew me away. I didn't know I was going to be able to get that, but I'm able to get that. So I say ask. And we're all in the same zone, or most of us are. I think all of us are. And they're right there beside my office, the people in Rectoria. And I know the answer to a lot of these questions is yes, go for it.
Okay, we'll try it. We're unsure of that's going to happen. We here in San Luis, or basically myself.
The trick, Fidencio, is the communication paths aren't clear. So at the Rectoria level, they're saying, yeah, go for it. But you've got the director of the campus, you got the director of the school, you got the director of the division, the director of the department, or whatever your levels are, that are saying, I didn't hear about this. But if you can get that communication saying that, well, this person in Rectoria said we can do this, then it's going to happen. Hey, there's Claudia.
Hi.
Late, but here.
Yes.
You have something to add? You have no idea what we were talking about for an hour?
No, just listening.
Okay, that's cool. Saying hi.
You got your cup of coffee. Hi.
I do. I got my cold coffee today.
Cold coffee?
Yeah, one of the cool messages I did receive this week and other weeks is we are open to experiments. Feel free that we can do different things in our classrooms, and we just need to let our bosses know about it, that it's going to happen. And I think you definitely need to be able to share what happened. Okay, there was a good feedback on the fact that I shared, with the help of Ruby, what happened at FlipCon 14. And my belief is that if we get to do something cool or different, it's our obligation to share what happened. Hello.
Sí, yo creo que una de las cosas importantes, bueno, yo soy profesor de cátedra, tengo mucho tiempo siendo profesor de cátedra nada más, y entiendo que también hay diferentes situaciones entre los profesores de cátedra y los profesores de planta, ¿no? Sí. En mi caso veo, y además no es lo mismo las clases de prepa que de profesional. En profesional tenemos un poco más de flexibilidad para con los cursos. Yo lo veo, una de las cosas que a mí me ha funcionado mucho en los cursos que yo doy es, el primer día de clases pongo las reglas muy claras y veo que otras cosas pudieran suceder en el camino para irme adaptando. Yeah. Y dos, creo que de las cosas más importantes es la experiencia que nosotros tenemos para enseñar las cosas. Aunque sea, digamos, el mismo curso, nosotros podemos desarrollar diferentes formas de dar el mismo contenido y darle un valor agregado. Y creo que ahí es donde podría radicar el valor del Flipped, ¿no? Sé que a veces el tecnológico es muy claro con el sello que nos pone y ser muy eficientes y muy estructurados, y esto pues rompe, al menos para mí, estando mucho tiempo en el tecnológico, me rompe mucho el esquema académico de tener esa libertad, y a veces a mí al menos me da esa sensación de estar pisando en tierra, en piso resbaloso, ¿no? Pero creo que si partes claras, pues sería mucho más fácil ir viendo cómo implementar cada una de las cosas del Flipped.
Excellent. Excellent. No, it's like the fabled libertad de cátedra. It's there. Some of us just are a little bit scared to use it.
Sí, sobre todo cuando tienes ya mucho tiempo dando clases y estás muy estructurado, la libertad de cátedra suena hasta extraño, ¿no? Porque pues es como que de repente te quitan las reglas y al menos para mí es una resistencia latente el cambiar de esquema, ¿no?
And I'll say that this is why it's hard for students. They're used to this defined structure of exactly knowing what to do, and they're not used to that. And we had this problem in this course. Lots of people said, I don't know what to do, tell me what to do. And no, I'm not going to tell you what to do. You're going to go and explore and see what's important to you about this topic. And it's hard. And evaluating, it's a whole different ball game too, but that's maybe an advanced topic because we're out of time on the course.
Claro, yo creo que ya definiendo un modelo sobre el cual, o sea, digamos un programa para el curso, yo hago mi programa del curso, digamos, sobre el plan de estudios que me dan, sobre eso planeo cada una de las actividades. Entonces, si yo lo tengo claro, pues para mí es mucho más fácil que los alumnos lo tengan claro, y si tengo las reglas, yo soy de la idea de teniendo las reglas claras al inicio, ya no hay quejas durante el semestre, porque esa es la otra de los alumnos, ¿no? Pueden aducir que es que el profesor no me dijo, no me explicó, no le entendí, no me quedó claro, no me evaluó bien.
And I had those polar evaluations on my evaluations. So some people just loved it, and some people were just freaking out because they needed more guidance. I'm going to do an experiment because I got to go answer a phone call here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. You guys can keep talking.
Okay.
Dijo que siguiéramos hablando, ¿eh?
¿De qué hablaron primero? Yo llegué tarde.
Porque si nos dicen que seamos flexibles, y en la página 1 que nos piden que hagamos, no ponemos exactamente, si no vamos a hacer todas las sesiones como flip, invertidas, pues con video y todo, y nada más van a hacer algunas y conforme vayamos avanzando las vamos haciendo, pues entonces va a venir ese problema.
No, realmente lo que estábamos hablando, ¿Claudia?
Sí, gracias, sí.
Estábamos hablando de lo que es compartir, ¿no? Y compartir todos lo que son los contenidos, utilizar Twitter, utilizar diferentes plataformas para con los alumnos, y salían algunas inquietudes con respecto a la libertad de cátedra, si tendríamos esa flexibilidad para la libertad de cátedra o no, sobre todo ya en la práctica, en los esquemas del tecnológico, ¿no? Entonces, que nos decía que teníamos que ir aprendiendo a compartir y a ir modificando la percepción primero de los alumnos y de la parte directiva, pues para que fuéramos nosotros.
Sí, y ahí llegué. Ay, bueno, luego me dices.
Claro.
Para ponerme al tanto. No, quería saber si habían hablado de cómo usar los chats en Twitter y eso, ¿no?
Sí, de hecho nos dio lo del Tweetdeck y ya nos estaba platicando un poco cómo utilizarlos.
¿Y el chat?
El chat.
¿Cómo chateas en Twitter? Hace rato entré al hashtag FlipTech21 para tratar de entrar a un chat que promoviste, pero no sé cómo chatear. Es nada más tuitear algo y poner el hashtag FlipTech21.
Okay, here you go, Clau. Start screen share. Here we are. We're in Tweetdeck, right? So let's see if someone will actually answer
el chat.
me. So I clicked on create a new tweet, right? And I said, so how the heck do we use this FlipTech21 hashtag thing, right? And then I could actually just poke. Let's see, I'm going to, there's Clow, there. So you noticed I made sure I typed the hashtag FlipTech21 in the text, and I also added an @ with your user ID, Clow. So what's going to happen now is you will get in your notifications that I sent something about this. Here, or actually here, let me focus FlipTech21 here.
Okay. I get it.
And then you can hit a reply on that, right? And if you hit a reply on that, if you can right now, that'd be cool. That'll appear here in my feed. So let's see. Hey.
There you are.
Welcome to Twitter. And then I'll add the FlipTech21. Reply to something. It's going to include the person, but not the hashtag. So if you want to keep the hashtag so people will see it, I needed to add, say on my answer to Monica here, I had to add the hashtag FlipTech21. So it keeps appearing in this feed and everyone will see it if they're following Tech21. So the default, a lot of this stuff at Twitter, like the concept of hashtags, it wasn't part of the Twitter's original interface, but people just kind of invented it so that they could kind of follow different formats. So a lot of this stuff that's happening on Twitter is organic. See, there's Lupita, and I just noticed, Lupita's on Twitter. Notice I can see some things. I can go, okay, I know Lupita's new. She's only sent out 2 tweets. She's following 7 people. She's got 3 followers, and nobody's got her in any lists. And I could actually follow her now. There, now I'm following her. And you'll notice if I hover over here, I could unfollow her. But I could see what are her tweets so far, right? I could go back and I could say, I'm interested. Who's Lupita following? And it sent me over here. And I go, maybe I want to follow someone that she's flipping. That'd be cool. And there's all these kind of organic digging into what these other people are doing on Twitter, right? And I could set, find followers. Or if let's just click on Clow here, right? I can see that she's a super Twitter. She's got 500 tweets going out. She's following lots of people. She's got some people following her. But I know that Cloudy is following me, right? And I'm following her. And there's something else that happens in Twitter. If you're both following each other, you can send private messages back and forth to each other.
Okay.
And so I could send a, hey, Cloud, what's up? I can't type today. And this is a private message between me and her.
Okay.
Nobody else is going to see this. And I can see, this will show up over here in my messages. These are my private conversations. So nobody else is seeing this. And I can see it's a private conversation because it's got a little lock on there.
Okay.
And so that's another way to use Twitter. Like I've had these conversations with Andrew and John and Troy and other people over here. I can also click, say, on that conversation I have with Clau, I can see that this message was a reply to this message, and it'll show me the thread of conversation. So I want to do something about that video of Monday's flipped class session. Hopefully some people will actually join on Monday. It's hard the timing because it's 7 p.m. Guadalajara time, 6 for you guys on the coast. But it's really interesting to meet a bunch of people. I met Audrey before going to FlipCon. A lot of these people I met, Crystal knows about me. All of these people, I met a lot of these people on Twitter before I went to FlipCon. And then when I went to the conference, it was this amazing experience because it was all these people I already knew. And I could talk to them already because I knew who they were and what they talk about and what they teach. And the icebreaker had already happened. And then I can, I could send Monica a tweet right now, and I could say, tweet to Monica, hey, you need a photo profile. Newbies to Twitter eggs because their profile always shows them as an egg because they're just hatching on Twitter. So that's kind of what it's about. I don't know if that helps at all.
Okay, sí.
Really, it's just experiment. Learn how to use it.
Okay. No, lo que quería saber era si cuando abrías un chat, ¿me oyes? ¿Me oyes?
Yep. Sí. Sí.
¿Se oye mi voz?
Sí.
Okay. Quería saber si cuando abrías un chat era por medio de un direct message o si era en público porque ponías bien en Schoology que pusiste que era con el hashtag.
Sí, eso es público.
Okay, pero invitabas a un chat con el hashtag FlipDeck21, entonces hay que poner el nombre.
No es un chat per se, FlipDeck21 es un hashtag y existe el historial desde siempre de todos los posts que tienen que ver con FlipDeck21. El hecho, o Flip Class es más ruidoso, ¿no? Entonces, el lunes intentamos hacer un chat de la gente que están hablando de unos tópicos de Flip Class y cada vez que mandamos algo ponemos Flip Class. Pero puede pasar que alguien ni está entrado en nuestro chat va a mandar mensajes en Flip Class. Y entonces hay no es un canal privado que tenemos definido para nosotros. Estamos abusando de ese hashtag para crear una conversación. Pero puede pasar que hay 2, 3, 5 conversaciones usando el mismo hashtag. Por eso cuando organizan un congreso o un curso, por ejemplo, podemos dar cuenta que nadie está usando hashtag FlipTech21. Entonces, más o menos es nuestro chat privado porque nadie se ocurre usar ese hashtag, pero son cosas públicas. No soy dueño del hashtag. 21. Entonces, cuando van a hacer un congreso, aguas en definir un hashtag para su congreso, porque a veces piensan, vamos a usar hashtag HP o algo así, muy genérico. Y luego, como lo están usando para Hewlett Packard o otras cosas en Twitter, y no eres el dueño de ese hashtag. Entonces, cuando estás organizando un evento y quieres como hacer un back channel o algo usando Twitter, tienes que ser creativo y cuidar que uses un hashtag que nadie más va a usar en ese momento o causa un ruido. Y no puedes evitar que alguien se mete y empiece a generar pues ruido en tu canal. De hecho, últimamente está pasando un montón de spam en Twitter en nuestro canal de Flip Class.
¿Sí?
Sí, mucho. Eso dice que somos popular.
Ok, no. No, más que nada
Everybody can leave, by the way, because we're past time, but I'm not going to go away yet. Adelante.
No, más que nada era esa la duda. No, más que nada era esa, la duda de si era un canal privado. Eso era todo, pero ya comprendí que es el hashtag. Y si quieres llamar a alguien en especial, lo llamas por la etiqueta de su nombre y es todo.
Sí, y si quieres llamarlo públicamente, pon su etiqueta y todo el mundo va a ver nuestra conversación que escribiste Thanks Teacher. El interesante aquí, voy a hacer screen share otra vez. Wait, 1 second. So here's one other trick with Twitter. So if I say your name at the beginning of the message, the first character is the at, so at Clau Bastiana. See, if I type this and say, hey, right, and I hit tweet, you're going to see it, I'm going to see it, but if I go look at your public timeline of Claudia, let's say, see if I can open this in another page, notice it's not showing here. Why? Because the first character was the
Why
at.
is that? Yeah.
So it's like I'm just sending you a message. Nobody else is going to see it on this timeline unless they go and specifically look to see it on the tweets and replies. Because that's kind of like a kind of private message, like I'm sending you a message, but nobody's going to be interested because I specifically said, this is for Clau. It's public. I can see it by going to your timeline and hitting tweets and replies, but it's not going to be in your regular message. So you got to be careful. If I wanted to send something that everyone's going to see, I got to be careful and say, hey, Clau, everyone. Oh God, I can't type today too. And then I hit tweet. If I go over to your page, Claudia, and I reload, it should show up here. Yeah, it's just the network's being weird. Yeah, it'll show up there. Okay. So the first character is an ampersand or a at symbol.
Okay.
It's Twitter knows that this is just for you. Everyone can see it, but by default they don't see it in their feed, and it won't like pollute their this home screen, this like feed. They won't see those ones. You'll notice almost never, like this message wouldn't show up in your feed if you were following the Crystal Kirch one. If you were following Crystal Kirch, you wouldn't see these messages unless you're one of these people. I got it in my feed because she sent this to me. Crystal was sending it to me something about people can't get into watch videos. Okay? So it's little things you learn. People do weird tricks like they put a dot before they put the name, and then that forces it to be kind of publicly visible. There's little tricks, but just use it and you'll learn. Let me turn off the screen share because you don't need to see my Twitter feed anymore. ¿Qué más, gente?
Okay, thank you.
We went way over time. I don't want to make you stay. You don't have to stay. Don't have to be here. Like I said earlier, I want to keep, people asked, Elo asked, I think, I'm not going to close the Schoology. The Schoology will stay open. I'll never close it. You can always just drop yourself out of the course if you don't want any noise. The other thing you should know is make it so Schoology doesn't spam you with emails. You can change your notification settings. If you don't know how to do that, let me know. Brenda saying goodbye. Bye, San Luis Potosí. I'm not going to close Schoology. You can hand in everything up to the 26th of July. I need to put a deadline sometime so I can hand in the grades. Feel free to have up to the end of the month to finish your reports. There's some people that did nothing. I actually dropped a bunch of people from the Schoology today to clean it up. And I don't know. I don't think there's anything else I need to really talk about. Yeah, Brenda, was Brenda saying goodbye.
Yeah. Ken.
Yes.
Can I just want to ask you, there is a fifth submission. I don't know what is it going to be because it says that they are going to post.
Oh yeah, I need to put that up.
Basically,
that's going to be there will be an official encuesta about the course, I guess. I don't know how that works, but I want to put my other kind of reflections on the course. That's what that's going to be. Like the assignment 0 was, why are you here? And then assignment 5 will be, what did you learn? Feedback on the course, more general than whatever Rectoria gives you. So there was the 4, the FLIP, there was the why am I here at the beginning, and what I got out of the course at the end. That's what that's going to be. I'll put that up probably this weekend. Tonight if I have energy. I'm trying to get caught up on the grading in this course. Oh my goodness. Okay. Anything else? Algo más? Elo's still here. Claudia's here. Laura. I'm going to hit the stop button here.